Niners fans, it's about that time. 7:30 on a Monday night. Faithful Niner Empire. What's good? You know who it is. It's your boy, Jay in the Bay. And how is everyone doing on a Monday night? This is the start of the work week for everyone. Hopefully, everyone has a productive week. Hopefully, everyone had a great start to their work week. Today is Monday. I appreciate everyone coming through and talking about the faithful, the Niner Empire. And we know the faithful are some of the best fans in the NFL. Obviously, we are 24 hours removed from the Sunday night game, and I've had some time to reflect on the game. And first, shout out to everyone watching Jay in the Bay Facebook page. Shout out to everyone watching on Jay in the Bay YouTube channel. I appreciate everyone watching. And also, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button. And also follow me on my social media links. I got the IG, I got the Twitter. I appreciate all the support. But, it's been 24 hours since the game. Obviously, it did not, the result was not in our favor. Um, I've thought about this for a while, 24 hours removed from the game. And, one could say 49ers were down 17-0. Jimmy G was instrumental in getting us a lead, and eventually he was able to get us a lead in the game. Um, Obviously, Jimmy did not play his best first half. Um, you know, that was definitely disappointing. And I'm not sure what it is, faithful. Maybe y'all can help a brother out. I don't know why Jimmy G he gets off to these slow starts. I don't understand. And then, when we really, really, really need him, he comes through, or, at least he starts to play better. But I will reiterate this through the show. There were a lot of reasons why the 49ers lost this game. The lack of running game was one. That was huge. Couldn't run the ball. I was surprised. We pretty much got dominated on both sides of the line, the offensive line and defensive line. That was surprising to me. Jimmy G's turnovers were huge. And the interception, that was more to me of a great play by the cornerback Jair Alexander. But the interception was crucial. Also, the fumble by Jimmy, that was big. That was the reason why we lost, or at least that added to the reasons why we lost. And the penalties, the defensive penalties definitely hurt us. I believe I was looking at the stats earlier, and Green Bay got 3 first downs off of defensive penalties. And that's huge, especially we can't give more opportunities to, Aaron Rodgers, the gunslinger. Also on defense, Devontae Adams, and granted, Josh Norman got hurt. K'Wan Williams got hurt. And, we're basically second and third string cornerbacks are covering, a number one receiver. He's a top 2, top 3 receiver. So he had like 18 targets, 12 catches. He totally dominated the game. And those were definitely some reasons why we lost this game. But this show, of course, is nothing. The show is nothing without the people, the fans who are in the chat, the people who are contributing to the stream. Let's say what's good to the people in the chat. All right, so we got Redder. What's good? Appreciate you coming through to the stream, Redder. He says we have to play the Packers next week. Man, well, you guys. I mean, to be honest, man, I don't know who this Packers team was. Who came in on a Sunday night, playing in front of the world. I was surprised that this Packers team came in. They played with heart. They played with passion, and they wanted it more. You could tell. And this was the 49ers home opener, and we just didn't come out with the same intensity. I mean, that has to be it, because I think on both sides of the ball, especially on the defense and offensive line, I think we were better, but for whatever reason, we didn't execute. But the Steelers definitely got their hands full against the Packers next week. That's for sure. If this same Packers team that played us, comes to Pittsburgh, if it's at Pittsburgh, but yeah, that's going to be a tough matchup for the Steelers, man. Packers Productions, what's good? Appreciate you coming through to the stream, Packers Productions. He says, I can't believe we won, but you guys played amazing. I mean, you guys, the Packers, they earned that game. I think it's also amazing when you think about it. We were down 17-0. One could say that it's amazing that we were able to even get the lead after being down 17-0. So, we have to give the players credit for that. They never gave up. They continued to fight, and I definitely respect that. But I just don't understand why we came out so flat. And it just seems like the offense, besides Detroit, with Philly, Green Bay, the offense just seems to struggle in the first half. I don't know what it is. Jimmy G looks a little skittish in the pocket. The offensive line, and we see there's a direct correlation. The offensive line can't block for Jimmy. He's not going to look confident. He's going to be looking at the rush. He may not be looking downfield. He's going to be throwing before he wants to. Sometimes the throws will be Sometimes the throws will be inaccurate. And also, it was a trifecta against the Packers. We couldn't run the ball, couldn't really pass block, and then Jimmy was also inaccurate. So, that was huge. But the Packers deserved it. The Packers earned it. They made big plays throughout the game, and they made one of the biggest plays. And shout out to their kicker for making that long 51-yard field goal, and that won the game for them. Debbie Ryan, what's good? Appreciate you coming through to the stream. Top Hat Debbie, thanks for tuning in. She says, hey, Jay, I'm still adjusting my attitude from that game. I'm going to be fine, but that was a heartbreaker for real. That was because, being down 17-0, coming all the way back, eventually getting the lead, and then we couldn't get a stop on defense. And, D'Amico Ryans has taken a lot of heat, today, and deservedly so. He is the defensive coordinator. If the defense plays well, hey, D'Amico Ryans, he's a great defensive coordinator. And the players, they executed the game plan. If the defense does not play well, then, get rid of D'Amico Ryans. I'm like, man, it's only his third game, And we have to, who is D'Amico Ryan? Who are his chess pieces on the field? Besides the D-line and the linebackers, who are pretty much healthy, the secondary is in shambles. Josh Norman went out. K'Waun Williams went out. I'm glad to see Emmanuel Mosley came back. And I thought he played solid, for his first game back. He missed the first 2 games. I thought he played solid. We're definitely going to need him to stay healthy for the duration of the season. There's no doubt about that, especially with Jason Verrett being out for the year. But, Lenore, he's shown promise, but let's be real. Lenore, a rookie corner, going up against an established professional wide receiver in Devontae Adams. Who do you think is favored to win that matchup? Who do you think is going to get the upper hand? I mean, come on, man. D'Amico Ryans, he could have double team, the wide Devontae Adams. That could have been an option. I don't think he did that. I would love to know why that option wasn't taken. Hey, let's double Devontae. It's clear Devontae had 18 targets in the game yesterday. It's clear that Aaron Rodgers is going his way. Why not double him? And there was a great stat. Well, it was great for the Packers that Aaron Rodgers, when he threw a pass under 2.5 seconds, he was 16 of 16 for like 140 yards. So that would say, hey, why don't we play bump and run coverage? Rodgers would have to hold on to the ball a little bit longer. And then that would allow our pass rush to get to him. But we did play bump and run on a few snaps, and Lazard beat K'Waun Williams early on in the game. And I think that's the play that K'Waun Williams got hurt as well. And we will get into the 49ers' latest injuries. Excuse me. We will get into the 49ers' latest injuries. Excuse me. And but I appreciate you coming through to the stream, Debbie. And I agree with you. It was a heartbreaking loss. But we can only, move on to Seattle because Seattle, I think they've lost 2 straight. And I know they're coming into Santa Clara, but, that quarterback they have under center, he's no joke. So we have to be ready. 49ers Ultimate Report. What's good? Appreciate you coming through to the stream, John Jay. He says, sorry, Jay, Jimmy G is not my quarterback. So many bad decisions. I don't blame you for saying that. And I love to say Jimmy G, that's my quarterback. I think you kind of have to take the good with the bad with Jimmy. When the offensive line can't protect Jimmy's going to make mistakes. And we saw that. There were some mistakes where he had a solid pocket, but Jimmy was inaccurate on his throws. And that's something that it just happens every game. There's going to be some throws that he makes that you shake your head. And that's just the Jimmy you get. And then there are some throws where he made to Kittle on that post pattern, and you're like, hey, this is the Jimmy G that we need playing, and why can't he do this every snap? I don't know. Because Jimmy, I don't think people can say, well, we were down 17-0. Shanahan still had confidence in Jimmy. Jimmy still, played the majority of the snaps after we were down 17-0. And Jimmy was instrumental in getting the lead for us. I don't think there's anyone who could watch that game and say, well, no, Jimmy G, the plays he made to get us back to a lead in the game, that he wasn't instrumental. He wasn't a crucial part in getting the 49ers a lead. Granted, Jimmy looked terrible in the first half. The offensive line looked terrible. The offensive line couldn't create holes for the running game. They couldn't protect Jimmy. And I think the worst part was the running game. I mean, Kyle Juszczyk running the ball 5 times. I mean, what the hell is going on, faithful? I mean, that is not Kyle Juszczyk's. That is not his forte. He does not need to be in the shotgun, doing a fullback dive. Like, I don't know what that was, but I don't want to give up on Trey Sermon, but he does not. I don't know how you guys feel, but Trey Sermon just does not have that same burst that Mostert and Mitchell have. And if Mitchell was healthy, who knows? And if he was in the game yesterday, who knows if he would have had more success against the Packers defense? But very disappointing. We couldn't run the ball. The Packers had a bottom 5 run defense in the NFL through the first 2 games. Also, they were missing Zadarius Smith, their edge rusher. So I don't know what was going on. We could not create holes in the running game. Trey Sermon, he's just not as fast as the other 2 backs. And clearly Shanahan didn't believe in the other running backs that were on the active roster. Kerryon Johnson, I think he played 9 special team snaps. I don't think he played on the offensive side of the ball. Trenton Cannon, he did have that excellent kickoff return that was at the end of the first half that got us in position to score with Trey Lance scoring. And but he wasn't used on any offensive snaps. And I think the other running back was Jacquizz Patrick, I believe. But Shanahan didn't believe in any other running back except Juszczyk and Sermon. And, we saw the result of that. We could not run the ball. We were basically one-dimensional. I did like that I saw Kittle, Ayuk, and Debo. They got involved in the passing game. And Mohamed Sanu did as well. But, it just wasn't enough. We need a balanced attack. We need a solid running game. And maybe that's asking too much. I don't know. It's just one game, but maybe we have too many injuries. Mostert's out. Wilson's out. Elijah Mitchell's out. I don't know if he'll be able to play this Sunday against Seattle. We'll see how he progresses throughout the week. But, we just have, so many injuries. Damian Lee, what's good? Appreciate you coming through to the stream, Damian Lee. He says, John Jay, are you ready for Trey Lance? It seems like he is because John Jay say that's not my quarterback. I mean, that's a great point, Damian Lee. Shanahan sees these two quarterbacks every day in practice. He sees Trey Lance in practice. He sees Jimmy G in practice. So why does Shanahan continue to stick with Jimmy G? Anyone like to respond to that? Why does Shanahan stick with Jimmy G? Uh, and I think because he is the veteran, he's comfortable with Jimmy G. He knows what Jimmy G brings to the table. But I don't know. Jimmy's got to get off to better starts. Starting slow, having multiple 3-and-outs, then having the defense, play as good as they can. And let's be real, the defense is not going to be 100%, especially with the secondary. The secondary is in shambles, so the offense is going to have to pick up the pace. They're going to have to score more often. We need to have a prolific offense. We need to be scoring, in the mid-30s every game because the defense is not. It's just not going to be dominant. We're not going to have a number one defense this year. That's just not the case. I just don't see that happen, not with our banged up secondary, with our corners. I just don't see that happening. So the Jimmy G in the offense is definitely going to have to be a lot better. And 49ers Ultimate Report says the interception and fumble. Yeah. I mean, the interception, I thought Kittle was open, and I'm sure Jimmy thought Kittle was open as well. That's why he threw it. People say, hey, Jimmy doesn't throw deep. Jimmy doesn't throw deep. But, he threw it deep. And Jair Alexander, the corner, he's an excellent corner. He made a great play on the ball. I think the fumble obviously was a lot worse. 49ers Ultimate Report in regards to Damian Lee says Jimmy is making it hard to support him right now. Jimmy better. I think it means Jimmy better play better next week. Yeah. He has to. Jimmy has to play better. It's not good enough, but I don't think you can blame all this on Jimmy. You can't blame all of this on Jimmy. If it's just like anything, if a running back, if the offensive line can't make holes for the running back's not going to have a successful day. If Jimmy G feels pressured in the pocket, he's going to get rid of the ball before he wants to. And these are some of the keys to the game on the 49ers defense. Hey, get after the quarterback. Make him throw before he wants to. Pressure the quarterback. Jimmy G was sacked 4 times yesterday, and I think he was pressured about 11 times. So what do we really expect Jimmy G to do? Being pressured 11 times, sacked 4 times. I mean, I don't understand. How do we expect Jimmy to be successful in that type of environment? How does any quarterback be successful in that type of environment? I just don't see it. But we definitely have to get better on offense, but I think it starts with the running game. We got to get better running the ball. Jimmy G, he lacked a running game in this game. He was able to get us a lead in the game. It looked like the play calling looked much better in the second half. I don't know if Green Bay let up a little bit, which I wouldn't be surprised. That's human nature. They have a lead. But the offense did look better in the second half. Jimmy G looked more comfortable. But it just seems like in the beginning of games, Jimmy G is just not comfortable in the pocket. He's just not comfortable. I don't know if he's nervous. I don't know what it is. But, we need him to get to a hot start. We can't have multiple 3-and-outs in the first quarter. Then we're down. And that's why we were down 17-0. And also the defensive penalties killed us as well. You can't overlook that because that gave opportunities for the Packers and their offense to continue to go downfield. So you can't blame just one guy. Jimmy G doesn't play corner. Jimmy G's not playing defense. He's not blocking. He's not running the ball. I think you can blame Jimmy. He touches the ball every snap. You can blame the offensive line. Defensive coordinator DeMeco Ryans. Maybe we should have changed up our scheme with Devontae Adams. There's definitely a lot of blame to go around. That's for sure. 49ers first take. Hot diggity dog. What's good? Appreciate that $5 super chat. First takes. He says 8-man front dares Jimmy G to beat you. Most of the times he won't. Of course, he has his success, but it is predicated on everything around him being perfect. Hey, that's that. I agree. Things have to be perfect for Jimmy G to have success. And I think for a lot of quarterbacks, if you don't have an offensive line that can block, if you're getting pressured, how can he make his reads? How can he make accurate throws? Like it's just not going to happen. Um, and the lack of running game was huge. Shanahan and the offense, they love to work off play action. And of course, Jimmy makes throws later on in the game. But my problem with Jimmy was the inaccurate throws at the beginning of games. It's just, I don't get it. It happens every game. I don't know if he's nervous. Maybe Kyle Shanahan needs to, get some easy throws for him. I don't know. But there's a reason why there's a reason why Shanahan sticks with Jimmy for whatever reason it is. Whether he's a veteran, he knows what he's going to get from him. But he sees these two quarterbacks in practice every day. Clearly, Lance is not blowing his socks off, or else Lance would be in there starting. And I believe in Shanahan, and whatever. I believe in his football acumen. That's what I believe in. So if he watches these two quarterbacks and he says, well, Jimmy G will be more consistent and we are ready to win now. He wants to ride with Jimmy G, then that's what we're riding with Jimmy G. But there is definitely a reason why Jimmy G is still in there. And let's face it, we were down 17-0. And you could say that's Jimmy G's fault. You could say that's the defense, whatever. But Jimmy G got us back in the game. Those are facts. Jag, what's good? Appreciate you coming through to the stream, Jag. He says, good evening, Jay in the Bay. How are you doing? I'm doing pretty well, man. 24 hours after the loss, I've had some time to reflect. And hey, we're 2-1. The season is young. A lot of things went wrong yesterday, and we only lost the game by 2 points. We kept fighting. We didn't give up. There's going to be times where things don't go your way, but you still have to continue to fight, and that's what the Niners did, and that's why we got the lead. We just couldn't finish. He says we couldn't run the ball, and that forced us to throw the ball, which isn't Jimmy G's game. Jimmy G shows some toughness, bringing us back. We will be okay, and that's how I feel. That's how I feel. First Take said, "Hey, everything has to be perfect." Well, if that involves having an offensive line that can block for you, if that involves a running game, then yeah, a lot of quarterbacks need that First Takes. But I think what we can control are the turnovers and the penalties. Those definitely were two things that killed us. Obviously, Jimmy G had the 2 turnovers, and this was the first game that Jimmy G threw an interception, I believe. Yeah, this is the first game Jimmy G threw an interception. I think he had a fumble. Was that week 2 or week 1 with the center? There was a center snap exchange. I think there was a fumble there. I think that was either week 1 or week 2. But this is the first interception that Jimmy G threw. I thought we were doing good the first 2 games with our penalties, but this last game, the defensive penalties were just ridiculous. And that's what type of quarterback, that's what Aaron Rodgers does. He's gonna make those throws where, hey, maybe the average quarterback won't make, but he will make those throws, and he will expose the defense. And I agree. Jimmy G showed some toughness, bringing us back. It's going to be a difficult game against Seattle because unless our corners get healthy, it's going to be a tough game. But I was really surprised by the offensive line not being able to block, and the defensive line not getting any pressure. But kudos to Aaron Rodgers for getting out the ball quick. And that's what veteran quarterbacks do. Damian Lee says, I would be ready for Trey Lance if Kyle can develop him and not just scheme him up. Okay. I'm ready for whoever puts us in the best position to win. That's what I'm ready for. And clearly it seems that Kyle Shanahan still feels it's Jimmy G. Now, there was some latest news. Let's get into that right now. So the latest 49ers news, a cornerback, K'Waun Williams, who I thought, he played solid, the first 2 games, and he is a veteran corner in the slot. He got beat on a route by Lazard in the first quarter, and I believe that's when he strained his calf. And unfortunately for the Niners and K'Wan Williams, he will be out several weeks. It's another injury. So who's healthy in our secondary? So Josh Norman got hurt. He left the game. He's day to day with a lung contusion, and but he wants to play. But we'll see what happens as he progresses through the week. So that leaves Lenore, Emmanuel Mosley, Dante Johnson. I believe we're going to bring up Drake Kirkpatrick. We kind of have to, right? We got to bring up Drake Kirkpatrick. So those are the corners we're going to bring. Those are the corners who are going to face off against Seattle's wide receivers. DK, Tyler Lockett. They also have a rookie. His name is escaping me, and also we got to go up against Russell Wilson. This is going to be an interesting matchup. Also, George Kittle, he's day to day with a calf strain. I didn't see when he got hurt in the game, but maybe he just played through it. But those are the latest injuries. Cornerback K'Wan Williams, he's expected to be out for several weeks. Josh Norman is day to day with a lung contusion, and hopefully he can play. And then George Kittle has a calf strain. Let's see. Let's get back to these comments. Let's see. 49ers First Take says, teams ain't scared of Jimmy. No respect for Jimmy's big playability, and rightly so. Check down Charlie. Second coming of Alex Smith. Without a run game, Jimmy gets exposed. I think you can say that about a lot of quarterbacks. Most quarterbacks can't function without a run game, unless you're talking about TB12, Pat Mahomes, or even Russell Wilson. He struggled without a run game as well. We saw that in the back half of the season. But you're right. They're not afraid of Jimmy G throwing the ball deep, and for whatever reason, whether it's Jimmy doesn't trust the line, Shanahan's not writing up plays for deep routes, or Jimmy's checking it down because the pressure is coming to him. Whatever reason, there's certain throws that Aaron Rodgers made. Jimmy G won't make those throws, but there's levels. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers is on another level at the quarterback position than Jimmy G. Maybe this is the best Jimmy G we'll see, but Shanahan still feels Jimmy gives us the best chance to win. And there are times when Jimmy looks good. There are times when he looks terrible. He makes dumb mistakes, but Shanahan's willing to live with it, right or wrong. And Jimmy played much better in the second half. Why can't we get a full 60 minutes where Jimmy plays great? I don't know why, but I'm waiting to see that where Jimmy plays great full 60 minutes. A lot of things went wrong in yesterday's game: the penalties, the turnovers, the lack of running game, the offensive line, the defense at times, and we got the lead. We got the lead. At the end of the day, we had the lead, and the defense, couldn't hold the lead for whatever reason. They couldn't hold the lead. And you could blame that on injuries. You could blame that on D'Amico Ryans, but we continued to fight, and, we almost had them. We almost won that game. Some games are like that. And that was a heartbreaking loss for sure. Jag56 says, let's go faithful. We have to support our team no matter what. You can't just support them when they win. Absolutely. And I think you can still support the team and still be critical of them. I think that's the meaning of being objective. Like, you can say, hey, I love my team, but this is where we need to improve. And I think that's the best type of fan is an objective fan. I think I'm an objective fan. I guess you guys will tell me in the chat if I'm not. But, I think I love the team, of course, but there are definitely areas where we got to improve. And honestly, I don't know how you can improve the secondary. Unless they make a trade. I saw Carolina just traded for a cornerback from I think it was it from Minnesota? No, I think it's from Jacksonville. I think Carolina just traded for a cornerback in Jacksonville for like a player and a pick. And I'm like, man, that would have been nice. We need young corners, but I don't know how the secondary can get better. I don't think there's a free agent player right now who's going to make our secondary better. I've heard Richard Sherman. I don't know if he'll necessarily make it better. You know, he is a veteran. He knows the system, but he's kind of limited in what he can do. But I don't know how the secondary is going to get better unless we just get healthy. If Manuel Mosley can stay healthy the rest of the year, um, and the rest of our corners, if they can stay healthy the rest of the year, I don't know if that secondary is good enough to really contend in the NFC West. But I think this puts more pressure on the offense. The offense has to be lights out. The offense has to score more. The offense has to be a huge threat. And the offense has suffered major injuries, especially in the running game. Um, so it will be an interesting season for sure. Damian Lee says these are growing pains with D'Amico Ryan and our young corners. I'd rather develop than overpay. I think Lynch did a good job. Obviously that second round pick, you know, Asante Samuel Jr. was right there, faithful. Asante Samuel Jr. was right there. John Lynch and the Niners decided to trade down and select a guard. Uh, I don't know if that was a mistake. We did draft three other defensive backs in the draft, so we definitely addressed the area, or I should say, we definitely addressed the secondary. But we're going to have to continue. This is going to have to be an ongoing process through the draft next year, through free agency, and I know this regime has valued defensive linemen, which is key. You do need defensive linemen. You got to get after the quarterback. That is crucial, but we need more depth. We need more depth in the secondary. There's no doubt about that. Jason Verrett, who knows if he'll be back next year. Emmanuel Mosley, he'll have 1 year left on his contract, but I think we need to add another playmaker in the secondary for sure, and also continue to draft. There's no doubt about that. Got to draft another corner, and we got to get another corner in free agency. That's for sure. But I'm not blaming D'Amico Ryan as much. It's his third game as a defensive coordinator. Yeah, it would have been nice if he maybe tried to double team Devontae Adams, but maybe he couldn't with the personnel that was on the field. That maybe he couldn't. I don't know. But defensive penalties hurt as well. It wasn't just D'Amico. There's a lot of blame to go around. That's for sure. Jay Mouse, what's good? Appreciate you coming through to the stream, Jay. He says Jimmy G almost costed us the game. Yeah, I mean, who knows what this game would have been if Jimmy G were able to convert some early third down conversions. If Jimmy G was a little bit more accurate, who knows what this game would have turned out to be. I thought the 49ers defense, they played as good as they could, right? I mean, I know the pass rush was non-existent, but part of that was Aaron Rodgers was getting rid of the ball fast. That was definitely part of that. Jay also says, what was the defense doing? I don't know, man. I don't know what else D'Amico Ryan could have done except double team Adams. I don't think we saw that. I don't think we saw. Maybe he should have at least tried it. But the corners, they were up in bumper run coverage, and they got beat over the top. We saw that a few times when Lenore was on Adams, when K'Wan Williams was on Lazard. We saw that multiple times where, hey, when they play bump and run, especially man-to-man defense, Rodgers is not afraid to throw it over the top. He's not afraid to throw it over the top and let his receiver get it. And we saw that. And then we couldn't get pressure on Rodgers. We only had one sack on him. I believe he was only pressured on, I think Rodgers had about 34 dropbacks, and I think he was only pressured on 5 of those. So that's not good enough. That's just not going to get it done. Jay says, if Jimmy plays bad on Sunday, he's out of here.
You think so, Jay? I mean, Jimmy's going to have to up his level of play. There's no doubt about that. There's really no excuse for Jimmy. I mean, the offensive line could have played better as well. Maybe if Jimmy had a run game, he would have played a little bit better, but he was definitely inaccurate. There's no doubt about that. And he's going to have to play better. There's really no way of defending Jimmy because there were some times where he had time in the pocket, but he just couldn't get the ball there. And we see it early on in the game. I don't know if he's nervous, he's jittery. I don't know what it is, but we see it early on in the game. Joey Mahoney, what's good? Appreciate you coming through to the stream, Joey. Joey says, how about your boy Jimmy? Jimmy G, that's my quarterback. He says all he does is win. I mean, Jimmy, we know the stats. We know the stats, faithful. Jimmy has a winning record as the quarterback of the Niners. Does he leave sometimes a lot to be desired on the field? Yes. But if Trey Lance was ready, if Trey Lance was clearly the better quarterback, why isn't he starting? Why isn't Trey Lance starting now? Why does Shanahan continue to put Jimmy G out there if Trey Lance is clearly the better option? You know, I'm not going to question Shanahan's football acumen. He knows what he's doing. He's an excellent play caller, excellent play designer. Now his play calling, that doesn't mean you can't question his play calling because in the first half, it definitely was some questionable play calling, but you know, look at what he's working with. You can't run the ball, you can't block. I mean, this game is really simple. You got to be able to block, you got to be able to tackle, you got to play disciplined football. And when you don't do one of those things or a couple of those things, you're most likely not going to win the game. And that's what happened on Sunday, man. Damian Lee says, D'Amico is making mistakes Salah made when he first started. I will be patient. Hey, I think that's a good way to go. You got to be patient. You have to look at what D'Amico Ryans has to work with. Right now, the secondary is in shambles. You know, no one thought Lenore would be starting this early on in the season, a fifth-round draft pick. Ambry Thomas has been a healthy scratch so far, and he's a third-round draft pick. You know, you got Josh Norman, who was on the street. You know, he was a free agent. We know the stories of Dante Johnson. So basically, this is a patchwork secondary. How can we compete with the patchwork secondary in a division with Matt Stafford, Russell Wilson, and Kyler Murray? It's going to be very, very difficult. Very difficult. You know, the pass rush is going to have to be a lot better. You know, I didn't see anything from D Ford. I didn't see anything from Samson. I think Armstead played good per PFF, but I didn't really see it. But this offense is going to have to be much better. There's no doubt about that. But the defenses, they're going to have to be better as well. Can't just be on one unit. It's all three phases of the team. G Rob, what's good? Appreciate you coming through to the stream, G Rob. He says, let's be real. Moving forward for the rest of the season, losing multiple star players for the year in key positions for a second year straight. This team is not right. Dynamics are not there anymore. You ready to say that, G Rod, after only 3 games? You ready to throw in the towel already, G Rod? I mean, there's no doubt. We have lost players in key positions. You know, Jimmy's been inaccurate, that's for sure. But you know, I'm not ready to give up. I'm not saying you are, but you know, we still got to continue to fight. I know people don't like to hear it, but you know, next man up. You know, we have to continue. We have to continue to fight. We have to continue to play, and that's all that matters. It's only the 3rd game of the season. We're 2-1. We got our first divisional game against them good old Seattle Seahawks. Um, you know, we got to be ready to play, and hopefully we'll get some more guys back. Joey says, "Who got the first TD?" LMAO. Well, it should have been the IU show. Joey. Brandon Ayuk dropped the pass in the end zone. You know, Jimmy G was looking to the right, and Jimmy G was looking to the left, and he delivered a catchable ball to Brandon Ayuk. And my man, the Ayuk show, dropped the ball in the end zone, man. That wasn't Jimmy G's fault, but Trey Lance came in, and that was a ballsy call by Shanahan to, 4th and 1, 4th and goal, put in Trey Lance. I thought maybe they would just try to get the Packers to get off sides or something like that. But when they snapped that ball, Trey Lance ran to the end zone, got that TD. Hey, I was happy. And Trenton Cannon put us in position to do that with a great kickoff return. But yeah, that's why Trey Lance got that touchdown. Joey also says, "Get used to the L's." Jay in the Bay. Why would I get used to the L's, man? Why would I get used to that? I want to see the Niners win, man. Yeah, Jag says, "Joey, who is your team? You want the Niners to lose?" G-Rod says, "I mean, let's face it, we are not the championship team we were like in 2019. People are saying, but we're resilient, but that won't win you a championship." I would agree. We're not the same team in 2019. Being resilient is a great trait. It shows great character, but that's not going to win you championships. I would agree with that. But I'm not going to throw in the towel in the season. We still have to continue to fight. We still have to continue to play. Um, these players aren't going to quit. These players are going to continue to play. Are we still a Super Bowl caliber team? At this point, I would say no. I don't think we are a Super Bowl caliber team at this point. Due to the injuries, at the running back position, due to the injuries in the secondary, and those are facts. Well, they're not facts yet, but I would say we're not healthy like we were at the beginning of the season when we had Jason Verrett back there. We had Raheem Mostert. But those are two crucial injuries, and it's going to be very hard to recover from that. There's no doubt. Our division games are going to be really tough because we're going up against three pretty good quarterbacks who can sling it. And how is this secondary going to be able to, put up a fight? Also, some more latest news from the 49ers. So running back Kerryon Johnson, who we signed, I think, a week ago, he was elevated to the active roster for yesterday's game. He played 9 special team snaps. He did not play on the offensive side of the ball. He's been moved back to the practice squad. We still have, obviously, Trey Sermon. And Trey Sermon, he doesn't have that same burst that Mostert and Mitchell have. He had 10 carries, 31 yards, very pedestrian performance, only averaged 3 yards a carry. But that leaves Trey Sermon. Hopefully Mitchell can play this week. If not, then that's Trey Sermon, Cannon, Jacquees Patrick. And maybe Shanahan will bring up his old buddy Chris Thompson. And Chris Thompson, a running back, he's a fast running back. I don't know if he's still in the prime of his career, but he had some good years with the Washington football team. And Shanahan was there when running back Chris Thompson was there. So, that's a familiar face who knows Shanahan's system. And maybe we'll see Chris Thompson, be brought up to the active roster. I guess we'll see. Damian Lee says, "I wanted to keep Wayne Gallman over Jalen Hurd." I feel you, man. I feel you. I wanted to keep Wayne Gallman as well. I was surprised we let him go. Clearly, the Niners, John Lynch and Shanahan felt that the other running backs we had were better, and that might be the case. But Gallman, we could have kept on the practice squad. I don't know why we let him go, and Jalen Hurd, it kind of is what it is at this point. Not expecting much. Don't think he did enough to earn the job, but hey, sometimes, things like that happen. He was a high draft pick. Shanahan wants to see this through, and that's why Jalen Hurd's on the roster. G-Rod says, in other words, with major missing pieces, you can only do so much and go so far, right? I agree, G-Rod. We can only do so much. I can say next man up till I'm blue in the face, but if that next man up, is Dante Johnson or is a player that he can't elevate his game, he can only do so much. How can we expect him to compete against a Devontae Adams, who's a top 3 wide receiver in this league? Like it's just a mismatch. We can only do so much, but I still expect this team to compete. I'm still going to root for this team. I don't want to see them lose. And if they're wearing the red and gold, I will support them, of course. But I will be objective, and that's why I'm not mad at fans who, say, "Hey, Jimmy needs to get out of here," or Jimmy isn't playing good. Because I see why Jimmy, he's not consistent. Point blank, Jimmy's not consistent enough. But he wasn't the only reason why we lost yesterday. That's for sure. Jag says, because Jimmy G is the best quarterback right now, but I would be glad if Trey can take over. Yeah. And I think Jag is responding to my question about why is Jimmy G still the starter. And yeah, I mean, I think that's why. If Jimmy G wasn't the best quarterback right now, I think Trey Lance will be in there. But I want to hear from Shanahan. Why does he not want to put Trey Lance in for more snaps or start him? Especially if Jimmy G continues to struggle early. I don't know what it is with Jimmy's confidence, or he's inaccurate. I don't know what it is, but. And Jag also says we couldn't run and couldn't stop the run. That was very disappointing. That was one of Jay intheBay's 5 keys to the game. Faithful. I mean, weren't the 49ers watching this wonderful production here? I said we had to win on both sides of the ball. We got to create running holes for the running backs. We got to be able to block. We got to make sure Jimmy has a clean pocket. I also said we got to, keep our penalties at a minimum, and we got to win a turnover battle. And those are 3 things we lost, 3 things we couldn't do on Sunday. And that's why we lost the game, ultimately. That's why we lost the game. But all those things going wrong, we were still in position to win. And that's why I still believe in this team. Damian Lee says, can Frank Gore train our running backs to stay healthy? Yeah, I mean, I don't know what it is. Hey, football's a contact sport, faithful. I mean, what else can you do? I think Joe Staley was on, and obviously the great Joe Staley, great left tackle for the 49ers. I think the best offensive lineman I've seen since I've been a 49ers fan, Joe Staley. And he was basically saying since the new CBA was signed that the players have less time in the facilities. So the players, their training is all on them, and, he said, hey, the players need to come into shape. They need to come to camp ready to go. And that could be part of the reason why guys get hurt. Elijah Mitchell, I don't know of any extensive injury history to him, but obviously Jason Verrett, there's injury history. Obviously with Raheem Mostert, there's injury history, but those 2 players were brought in just on a 1-year deal. Raheem Mostert was just going to play special teams. Verrett, we know his injury history. He was just brought in on a 1-year. Hey, there weren't any expectations for Jason Verrett. Now, obviously last year, he balled out. And we were looking forward to him having a great year this year, a second year, but unfortunately, that won't come to pass. But yeah, I mean, everyone's body's different. I don't know what they can do to stay healthy. Maybe they can change the training staff. I don't know, but Joey says this loss though was on Shanahan, not Jimmy. I hate Jimmy though. Oh, I couldn't tell, Joey. I couldn't tell, man. So he says this loss was on Shanahan. Okay. Jag says, Joey, don't be a hater. You are better than that young man. I mean, Shanahan, I think that he deserves some blame as well. The play calling, but then, I didn't like the juice check run up the middles. I didn't like that. That's not his forte. That's not what he's best at. I was I was disappointed that Shanahan didn't want to use any other running backs running on in the offense besides Trey Sermon. That was disappointing, but clearly Shanahan didn't feel confident in the other running backs that he had on the roster. Let's see. Damien says Kyle's clock management skills is bad. If we're referring to, the fourth quarter, the 49ers offense is moving down the field. Jimmy G made some nice throws on third down. He made some nice conversions to get us in range to score a touchdown. I mean, I don't know if we're in the position based on, how you guys feel about Jimmy G and this offense. I don't know if we're in the position to say, oh, we're going to score when we want to. We can't, juice check, hey, get the handoff or catch the ball and then stop at the one. I don't know if we're in a position to do that. Now, if we only needed a field goal, I would agree with you. Hey, just run the clock out, get the ball in the middle of the field and let our kicker win the game. But if needing a touchdown, hey, you can't take those chances for granted. You got to score when you can. And, I think that's that. I think he relied on the defense, which obviously wasn't a good idea. That obviously was not a good decision because we couldn't get a stop, But I don't want to take those chances for granted for scoring a touchdown, because if Juszczyk goes down at the 2-yard line and then the next play there's a fumble or Jimmy throws a pick or a player drops a ball in the end zone and it's picked off, then everyone will say, Juszczyk, what are you doing? You got to get in the end zone. You got, so it's damned if you do, damned if you don't, that's why I had the thumbnail as is, 4 people. Who's to blame? And I think there's equal blame to go around. You can also put the offensive line. You can put the secondary. Hey, I don't want to call this guy out, but hey, Fred Warner, he had that PI against the tight end. He's the best linebacker in the NFL. He's got to be better. And he said that at the end of the game. Fred Warner said he has to be better, put the blame on him. And he's got to be better. Fred Warner, he had that penalty that was huge. And that definitely affected the outcome of the game. Joey says Jimmy snapped the ball with 13 seconds on the touchdown to Juice. Why not run out the clock? That's a great observation, and I agree with you. Jimmy should have waited, till there's 2 seconds, 3 seconds left on the game clock or the play clock, and then snap it. I would agree with that. That was an error in judgment by Jimmy G. There's no defending that. He definitely should have waited longer. Joey says, bad clock management. I agree. And I don't know why Shanahan didn't tell Jimmy, but at this stage in Jimmy's career, Jimmy should know that. He's a veteran. Jimmy should know, hey, I need to snap this ball at 2 or 3 seconds. That's what I would expect from Aaron Rodgers. That's what I would expect from any quarterback who's a veteran, who's played in this league for years. You got to know clock management. Even playing Madden, like, you're trying to, milk a game. You're gonna let that play clock go all the way down to 1 or 2 seconds before you snap the ball. So I agree, Joey. There's no defending that. That was bad clock management. Jag says at Joey, it's hard. We just have to take the good with the bad. I think yeah, and I think that's what Shanahan's doing. I think if that wasn't the case, then he would have already went to Trey Lance full time. But there's a reason why Shanahan is still sticking with Jimmy G. G-Rod says, Jay, are you seeing my chat comments? Yes. I'm just there's a lot of chat comments. I'm getting to them as fast as I can, but I just wanted to make sure I read everyone's comments. But yes, hopefully you're still on, G-Rod. I am seeing your comments. Joey says, hey, Jag, I thought all Jimmy does is win. I think if you look at his record, it's self-explanatory. Joey says, we'll be okay with Jimmy, huh? LMO. Yeah, okay. 2 and 3 at bye with Jimmy. Well, if we put Trey Lance in now, with these next games that we're going to play, so the next games, The next games we're going to play, next week against Seattle. Let me double check the schedule. I think it's next week against Seattle, and I think after that is Arizona. So, to me, going up in those games against our division opponents, to me, the quarterback isn't the biggest issue. To me, I think it's the defense. It's going to be the secondary. How is this secondary going to defend against Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray? Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, he's just as good, if not better, than Devontae Adams. The Seattle's got Lockett, Metcalf. How is this secondary going to defend against them? Jimmy's inaccurate. He makes plays when he needs to. He's not great. We know that, but the quarterback position is not my major concern right now. It is the defense. The defense, it's the secondary. It's in shambles. How do we expect to defend against our division opponents? I think that's a bigger issue. Granted, the quarterback position is an issue right now when Jimmy doesn't play, well or good, I should say. But I think the secondary is definitely a huge problem. And I don't know how it gets better other than getting our players back healthy. Jag says, Joey, I'm sure your parents taught you better than to be so hateful. G-Rod says, see, here we go. Another injury. Yeah. Kittle, he's day-to-day with the calf. K'Wan Williams will be out for several weeks with the calf strain. And I think, what was the other? The other injury was Josh Norman, lung contusion. But who knows if he'll be able to play next week. Jay says, we need to call Sherm now. Oh, man. I mean, it wouldn't hurt, right? It wouldn't hurt to bring Sherm in for a workout. But he does limit the defense. He's best at zone coverage right now. But at this point, who else we got? Would you rather have Sherm or Dante Johnson? So, yeah, I'd rather take Sherm. No doubt about it. But, yeah, I think we should. We should definitely go after Sherm. Jag says, I thought Mac played poorly. Do you think if we are having problems running, Shanahan might change his way of attacking defense? I think he'll kind of have to. Kind of like in the game against Philly where we couldn't really run the ball up the middle, so then we started doing those toss runs to the outside. But those weren't working either. We couldn't run up the middle. We couldn't do any toss plays. So, you got to give credit to the Packers' run defense. They played pretty well. The secondary, I think, played well. They played well enough to win the game. And that defense made plays when it had to. A run, sing. What's good? Appreciate you coming through to the stream, man. It's the first time I've seen you on. Everybody in the stream, I appreciate if you hit that thumbs up button for your boy, Jay in the Bay. Feel free to subscribe to the channel. And, of course, shout out to everyone watching on Jay in the Bay Facebook. I appreciate that. But I agree. Mr. Singh, you're absolutely correct. No pass rush, bad cornerbacks. You can say that for any team in the NFL. If you can't get after the quarterback, Rodgers is going to sit there all day, and he's going to pick apart the secondary. I completely agree. Joey says, Jag, thinking Jimmy is good, like thinking an obese woman is a supermodel. Wow. That's an interesting comparison. But, I think Jimmy, when he has time to throw and he throws accurate, he is good. In my opinion, I think he is good. We just need to see more of that, We definitely have to see more of that. Arun says, who is coming in for tryouts? I will sign Richard Sherman. He is better than Dante Johnson. Absolutely. I definitely agree with that. He is better than Dante Johnson. And what do we have to lose at this point? Verrett's not coming back this year. K'Wan Williams will be out for several weeks. Basically, we got Josh Norman, who got hurt. Drake Kirkpatrick is still in the practice squad. I would imagine he would get brought up. So that would leave Drake Kirkpatrick, Ambry Thomas, Lenore, Josh Norman, and Dante Johnson. Those are the 5 corners. So yeah, I think Richard Sherman. Why not? What do we have to lose? Titan Troll, what's good? Appreciate you coming through to the stream, Titan Troll. He says, "What's up, Jay in the Bay? What's up, man? How you guys doing? How your Titans doing? Did they win yesterday? I'm not even sure, but thanks for tuning in to the stream, man." Jag says, "At Joey, let's suppose we trade Jimmy tomorrow and put Lance in. He gets hurt. Do you have faith in Sudfeld?" That's a great question for Joey. But Joey clearly is not a Jimmy G supporter, so I have an idea of what his answer might be. Jag says, "Whether we like it or not, it's Jimmy and Trey this year." I agree with that. Absolutely agree with that. Arun Singh says, "Second round pick not playing. Aaron Banks, excuse me. He's a guard. He's been hurt with a shoulder injury. Third round pick is slow," referring to Trey Sermon. "And a third pick is not playing. Lynch got to go." Already? You think Lynch got to go already? Oh, yeah, and the third round pick you're referring to is Ambry Thomas. I mean, I don't think rookies just come into the league and hit the ground running. Some don't. Lenore has looked good. He was a 5th round pick. But I don't think Lynch is going to go. Nah, no way. Banks got hurt, but before that, he was struggling. He was not on the first team offensive line. I think people just assume that, but that's not always the case. But I think he's definitely the future. He has to be, being a 2nd round pick. Trey Sermon, yeah, he doesn't. Watching Mostert, he was like perfect for this system. But it doesn't seem like Sermon has that speed. And then Ambry Thomas, same with Banks. He struggled. At least he's healthy, but he's not ready to compete at the NFL level at the cornerback position. He's just not ready. But hopefully he'll make strides this year in off-season training camp, and hopefully it'll be Ambry Thomas, Lenore, and Manuel Mosley as the starters next year. Blue True, what's good? Appreciate you coming through to the stream, Blue True. Blue True gives us an update on the Cowboys and Eagles. The Cowboys are up 40-14. Woo-wee. I know Bird Gang 31 is hotter than fish grease. I know he is mad, man. Mr. Singh says, "Where was Seth Bilko?" I don't even know if he played yesterday. Did he play? I didn't see him on the field. I didn't see him make no plays. So I don't think he was in. Arun says, "I will bring in Denard and Dunbar for workout, the corners." Okay. I don't see why not. I know the Panthers made a trade for a corner from Jacksonville, and that would have been nice if the Niners could have made that same trade, because we definitely need help at the cornerback position. Terrence Hagan, what's good? Appreciate you coming through to the stream, T. He says, "Trying to get a trade for him." Trade for who? Elaborate in them comments. Joey says, "I will say it again. Shanahan lost this game by not taking time off the clock. Jimmy snapped the ball with 13 seconds on the clock." I would agree with that. I don't know if he lost the game, but that was bad clock management, because I don't think it ever comes down to one play. I think there were definitely a series of plays that happened in this game that contributed to the loss. But yeah, that was definitely bad clock management. Absolutely. And I would love to hear Shanahan's response to that, and also Jimmy G's response, because Jimmy G, you a vet. You should already know that. Shanahan shouldn't have to tell you that. Jag says, "Definition of faithful, remaining steadfast and loyal. It's only one game." I would agree with that. Definitely have to stay faithful. There's no doubt about that. There were some interesting stats from this game on the Packers side. Rodgers had 34 dropbacks, was only pressured 5 times. Definitely was lack of a pass rush. Rodgers was 16 of 16 for 140 yards when he threw passes under 2.5 seconds. He just shredded this defense. Aaron Jones rushed for 82 yards on 19 carries. He averaged 4.3 yards per carry. I thought we did an okay job in the running game. I thought, honestly, we would do a little bit better. I thought that we would be able to control the line of scrimmage on both sides. And unfortunately, we did not see that come to pass. Devontae Adams dominated the game. 18 targets, 12 catches, 132 yards, 1 touchdown. He was a baller out there. He is a definition of a number one receiver. He and Rodgers just have that connection. Our defense did not adjust. Packers defense played better than I expected. They got 4 sacks on Jimmy G, and I believe they got 11 hurries on Jimmy as well. They also got an interception and a fumble recovery. So Packers defense played enough to win this game, that's for sure. Theodis Barber, what's good? Appreciate you coming through to the stream, TB. He says, play Trey. 49ers, come on, man. Theodis say so. What up, Jay? Hated the loss, but I'm a 49ers for life. Bang, bang, Niner game. Exactly. I agree with you. 49ers for life. Very tough loss. Putting in Trey will not help the defense. Putting in Trey will not help the cornerbacks cover. It will not help the cornerbacks not commit penalties. Putting in Trey will not help this defense be able to get after the quarterback. And I say that because, Jimmy isn't the only reason we lost this game. There's no doubt about that. I can't put this all on Jimmy because we were down 17-0, and some would say it's Jimmy's fault. But, Jimmy wasn't out there playing defense. And Jimmy, had a huge hand in getting us back to, getting us the lead in the game. And Jimmy has to get credit for that. But also Jimmy should be criticized. There's no doubt. He should be criticized for his inaccurate throws early on in the game. And we see it in every game. I don't know what it is in the beginning of the game. But Jimmy was not on the offensive line. He was not allowing defenders to the quarterback. So you can't just put it all on Jimmy. Juan Zarate. What's good? Appreciate you joining the stream, Juan. He says, I don't know, man. Coming from a Packers fan, it seems to me like Kyle and Jimmy are the biggest problems in SF. Wow. That's interesting coming from an outside perspective, and I appreciate your perspective. But, when Jimmy's healthy, y'all know the rest. When Jimmy was healthy in 2019, what happened? Shanahan's only winning season with the Niners is when Jimmy was healthy. So I don't think Jimmy is the problem in SF. An argument could be made, is he holding the team back? That's a legitimate argument. So some fans say, hey, Jimmy's holding the team back. We need to put Trey in. That's a legitimate argument, but I don't think Jimmy is the biggest problem. The biggest problem right now is we can't run the ball. We can't stop the pass, the opponent's passing game. Right now, we're not able to get after the quarterback. Those are, to me, bigger problems than the quarterback position. Injuries to the secondary, injuries to the running back room. To me, those are the biggest problems with this team. There's no doubt. Queen B, what's good? Appreciate you coming through to the stream, Queen B. I'm doing much better 24 hours after the game. Last night was very tough game. Heartbreaking loss, back and forth, frustrating, disappointing to watch. Feeling better 24 hours after the game, though, because we got to move on to Seattle. Can't just give up, can't just quit. Faithful then, faithful now. Queen B says, good evening to everyone here. Jag says, exactly, Jay. What are we supposed to do? Forfeit the season? Hey, Queen, absolutely not. We're going to continue to fight. We're going to continue to root for the players in the red and gold. And we just have to continue to make adjustments on both sides of the ball, special teams, and continue to push forward. G-Rod says, and we still got to play all our division rivals twice. Ouch. Yeah. Um, these are going to be some tough games. It almost seems like Jimmy G is going to have at least 6 shootouts this year, because I just find it hard to believe that our defense is going to be able to stop Matt Stafford, Kyler Murray, and Russell Wilson's twice. Unless, and I know this is just one game, the pass rush wasn't what it should be. They didn't play up to their potential. But if we get the pass rush going, that'll help the secondary. There's no doubt about that. Pass rush will help the secondary. So hopefully this was a blip and not a trend with the pass rush. That's all we can really hope for. I mean, the defensive line is relatively healthy, and we just got to hope they play better. That's all we can really do. We just got to hope they play better next week against Seattle. G-Rod, don't you find it crazy that we basically have the same players that we had in 2019, but you wouldn't know it by the way they're playing? It's hard to understand. Well, the biggest difference is DeForest Buckner. That's definitely the biggest difference. And then we've added pieces on our D line. The linebackers are basically the same. The secondary, we've added a few pieces, but the safeties are the same. But yeah, we are struggling right now. There's no doubt about that. Joey says he's tired of these Jimmy G nut huggers. What can I say? Jimmy G's under center. He's inaccurate at times, but he does make some good throws at times. And I think Shanahan, kind of like how Jag said, you gotta take the good with the bad. Jag says division games in the NFL are always crazy. Nothing is for sure. We play our division hard no matter the records. I definitely would agree with that. Absolutely. G-Rod says, is it me or are we literally losing players every game? We are. We are literally losing players every game. I don't understand it, but that's where we are right now. I don't get it. Yeah. K1's out for a few weeks. Last week, who got hurt? The first week was Verrett. The second week, Elijah Mitchell, he's out. Hopefully he'll be back this week. But yeah. But we're not the only team, though. You look around the NFL, there are other teams who are losing players. I think we are very sensitive to it, though, because we're Niners fans and we want our team to be successful and be healthy. But every team has injured players, that's for sure. Let's see. Joey says, okay, Jay, why snap the ball with 13 seconds? Have we killed 2 more seconds? Maybe Green Bay doesn't get in field goal range. I completely agree with you, Joey. I completely agree with you, Joey. Jimmy should have snapped that ball with 2 or 3 seconds left on the play clock. There's no defending that. Absolutely, Joey. You are 100% right. There's no defending that. And Jimmy should know that. He's a veteran quarterback. G-Rod. Dante Whitner should be a defensive coach. He straight up broke it down and called out the coaching and wrong schemes they were using and how they should have been doing it. Yeah, maybe, maybe Dante Whitner should go into coaching, man. I know he does a hell of a job on the pre and post game. I think it's on NBC, I believe. But yeah, I need to check out that video and see what Dante Whitner is talking about. I'm sure. I mean, the thing is, like, it's easy to say what someone did wrong. Like, it's always easy to say, oh, well, you should have did this. You should have did that. But D'Amico's not going to put this team in a situation to lose. You know what I mean? Like, he's not going to purposely say, oh, well, let's put them in this coverage because it's more likely to fail. Like, so it's easy to second guess someone after you know the result, But yeah, that would be interesting to see Dante Whitner's perspective because, he played the game at the highest level and he was on the 49ers, So yeah, I need to check that out. Cassidy, I like that avatar you got there. What's good? Appreciate you coming through to the stream, Cassidy. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Everyone in here, I appreciate if you hit that thumbs up button. Let me and YouTube know that you're enjoying the stream. He says Kyle Shanahan is overrated. Hey, that's debatable. Out of 5 seasons, he only had one winning season. I think that's debatable. But if it were me, I would stick with Shanahan. When he came to this team, you know, there were a lot of issues. John Lynch and Shanahan, turned over this roster 360. I think the only players that are still here are what? Probably Jimmy Ward. I think Jaquiski Tart was here when Shanahan came here. But they've completely flipped this roster. So no, I would not. I would not fire Shanahan. If he's overrated, that is debatable. But I'm riding with Shanahan. G Rod says, I agree with everything Whitner said. It all makes so much sense. Sign him for defensive coaching help. Hey, that's up to Shanahan and Lynch. Monty Williams, what's good? Appreciate you coming through to the stream, Monty. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully your Monday night is going well. Some of the key reasons I noticed the 49ers lost this game: the 2 turnovers by Jimmy, the interception and the fumble, the lack of running game, the offensive line struggled to protect Jimmy, and those defensive penalties. Those were all reasons. And I would say you got to put in Kyle Shanahan. Some of his play calling, not using. Obviously, he wasn't comfortable with certain running backs, and the clock management at the end. That those were definitely some of the reasons. But those are the reasons I felt from watching the game why we lost. And all those reasons, we were still in the game. We got the lead. That's something you got to hang your hat on. Some positives from the 49ers game. We were 100% in the red zone, 4 for 4 on those red zone conversions, and we converted 7 of 11 third down conversions. Now, it would have been much nicer if we would have been able to – it would have been much better if we were able to convert those third downs early on in the first quarter, because we had several 3-and-outs at the beginning of the game. There's no doubt about that. So if you could leave now in them comments who deserves the most blame, Shanahan, D'Amico Ryans, Jimmy G, or John Lynch, feel free to leave your answer in them comments. If it was me, if I'm answering this question, I would say if I had to give it to one person, which is unfair, I think there's a lot of blame to go around. I think Jimmy G shares the most. He struggled early in the game. He was inconsistent. He had a terrible first half. There's no doubt about that. Was he the only reason we lost? No, but he deserves blame. There's no doubt about that. That would be my take. But does that mean we need to get rid of Jimmy? No. That does not mean we need to get rid of Jimmy G. Let's continue on with these comments. G-Rod, we need a fast shutdown corner. Yeah, every NFL team wishes they had that. But absolutely, we have to, in the offseason, we have to invest more into the secondary. Draft, free agency, trades, all resources needs to be exhausted. We have to continue to add talent to this secondary. G-Rod, he says, I agree, Jay. Sermon has been a letdown. I would agree. Yeah, he and it's not, I don't want to say it's not his fault, but we're used to seeing Raheem Mostert, one of the fastest players in the NFL. Elijah Mitchell, when he was in, he looked good at times. And with Sermon, we just haven't seen that burst. And he just doesn't look as quick or as fast or as shifty as the other backs. So we've been spoiled at the running back position. And I'm still rooting for Sermon. Hopefully he can have some successful games with us, but I don't know if he's the guy. I'm not impressed with what I've seen so far. Jag says Seattle is going to run the ball with Carson until we stop them, but they are going to try to take shots downfield to DK and Lockett. Better to play Seattle at home for our first game against them. Absolutely. Chris Carson, he's a good running back. Our run defense will have to be stout, and for the secondary, we can't let Lockett and DK have big plays down the field. As simple as that. We cannot let them get behind us. That's for sure. They make Russell Wilson throw underneath, come up and make the tackle, and we got to slow down the run game. That's for sure. Whose house? Rams house. What's good? He says, "Hey Jay, who do you think wins in the Rams versus the Cardinals game?" I think the Cards go beat the brakes off them good old LA Rams. Now I'm just playing. I don't know, man, but that's gonna be an excellent game between the Rams and Cardinals. I think that comes on at the same time as the 49ers and Seahawks game. I wish I could watch it. I'll probably watch the highlights, but that's going to be a hell of a game. The Rams, they look pretty good against Tampa Bay. Maybe they're in for a letdown against the Cards, but maybe not because the Cards are 3-0. Rams are 3-0. One team's going to unfortunately have to lose this game. And I'm looking forward to see whichever team gets that loss. It don't matter who wins. I probably honestly would want the Rams to lose because I think they are the better team right now. They're probably right now the best team in the NFC West division. And hopefully they get that L. Juan Zarate in 2019, though, just from my perspective, the run game and defense was what blew us out both games, not Jimmy. And going back to the problems in SF, why is Kittle getting such little touches? Yeah, that's a great question. I think Kittle's touches increased in the game against the Packers. Also, Ayuk and Debo got involved. But, you got to get the ball into your playmakers. There's a reason why Kittle is the highest paid tight end in the NFL right now. And it's not because of his blocking. It's because of what he can do when he gets the ball, when he catches the ball. And he runs after the catch like some of the best players in the league. And we got to get Kittle the ball more often. And I agree with you. In 2019, it was the running game and the defense. That's what led us to that Super Bowl. There's no doubt about that. Jimmy played a part as well. But the running game is not the same running game it was in 2019. And right now, the defense isn't the same either. The secondary is different. The running back room is different. But yeah, we need to continue to get Kittle the ball. Absolutely. Rams House says Sean McVay is 8-0 versus the Cards. Wow, I did not know that. So clearly he has their numbers. Bryce Sports and Plushes. What's good? I know you're doing good today, man. Your Packers got a win over the Niners. Heartbreaking loss for us. But, congrats to your team. You guys were the better team. No doubt about that. CG Ruthless Sports. What's good? Appreciate you coming through to the stream, CG. How is your Monday night going? Monty Williams says, I want to know, whether I want Ant to. Okay, you're going to have to elaborate a little bit more on that, Monty. CG Ruthless Sports says the coverage needs to improve. Absolutely. I just don't know how we get better. Yeah, I don't think there are any players in free agency right now who can help us get better at the cornerback position. I don't see it. Only way the secondary would get better is they have to cover less. And the way they cover less is the pass rush. It starts in the trenches. And if we're able to get pressure on the quarterback, that it'll definitely help the secondary out a lot more. But hey, the pass rush wasn't non-existent yesterday. And it's going to have to be 360-degree turnaround is going to have to be much better against the Seahawks offense. D'Amico Ryan, it's his third game. I'm still behind D'Amico Ryan. It's his third game. Look what he has to work with. There's only so much he can do. But hopefully it's a learning lesson for D'Amico. Jag says the Ravens lost 3 running backs. Packers lost offensive linemen. Raiders without the Jacobs. Dolphins lost his, so we can't use injuries as an excuse. Like Jay says, it's the NFL. Injuries happen. Absolutely. And those teams are still playing. Ravens lost the running backs. They're still playing. The Packers lost their best offensive lineman, and basically it was their third string left tackle who did pretty well against Bosa. And the rest of the offensive linemen did pretty well. Raiders are 3-0 without Josh Jacobs. I think Josh Jacobs has only played 1 game so far. So you got to continue to fight. Does that mean you'll continue to win? No, but you got to continue to fight, and you still have to continue to, you know, compete. That's what it's all about. You got to continue to compete. G Rod, he says, did you notice the guy that rushed the kicker at the end of the game for the field goal reached him and got his hand up, but apparently missed a block? Yeah, that was that was Dante Johnson. Yeah, Dante Johnson. It looked like he dove for the ball, and like it was like inches away from blocking it, less than inches away from blocking it. That would have been a huge play, and Dante Johnson would have been hailed a hero. But unfortunately, that didn't come to fruition. J.A. Aguayo, or Jag, excuse me. Jag, I appreciate that $5 super chat, man. He says, got to go, but you and the faithful have a blessed night. Go Niners. Absolutely, man. You have a blessed night as well, Jag. Thanks for tuning in to the stream. I appreciate you conversing with me back and forth. And make sure you stay faithful. Faithful then, faithful now, man. I appreciate you coming through to the stream. I'll see you in the next one, man. Hey, Zeus, what's good? Appreciate you coming through to the stream, Jesus. Hopefully your Monday night is going well, man. Jesus says teams pick on DBs to get free penalties. Yeah, I would agree. That's what the great quarterbacks do. Queen B, I appreciate you for still being here and supporting the Jay and the Bay YouTube channel. Jesus says, how do you grade the Packers offensive line? They did pretty good against us. Now going forward, I don't know, but they did a pretty good job against us, and Rodgers, got the ball out quick. He had 16 pass attempts, and he completed 16 passes when he threw the ball under 2.5 seconds. So, but that's a professional quarterback. Rodgers did an excellent job getting out the ball quickly. And I appreciate everyone for coming through to the stream tonight. Shout out to Jag. Shout out to 49ers First Takes for their super chats. And I appreciate everyone who came onto the stream. I appreciate everyone's contributions. Redder was here, Packers Productions, Debbie Ryan, 49ers Ultimate Report, Damian Lee. Let's see, Jay, G-Rod. Let's see, Joey was here. Arun Singh, he was a new member. Hopefully he subscribed to Jay and the Bay YouTube channel. And I see Titan Troll was here. Blue True, Terrence, Theodis Barber, Juan Zarate, Queen B. I appreciate everyone's contribution to the stream tonight. Monty Williams was here. Rams House, Juan Zarate. I think I might have said his name twice. Bryce was here. CG Ruthless Sports was here. Jesus. I appreciate everyone's contributions to the live stream tonight. Shout out to everyone watching. Jay and the Bay Facebook, Jay and the Bay YouTube channel. Hey, the Niners are 2-1. Obviously, we wish we were still undefeated. I definitely thought that we would beat the Packers, but that didn't come to fruition. The Niners made several mistakes. The Niners, we didn't play our best 60 minutes of football. And hopefully this is a learning lesson, and hopefully we continue to get better throughout the week. Hopefully we get some players back. But you guys can stay tuned to Jay and the Bay YouTube channel for all your 49ers latest news. Let's see, on Thursday, I might be able to have a Seahawks fan come on to Jay and the Bay YouTube channel. Stay on the lookout for that. I might be able to do that. I guess we'll see how the schedules come out. But that's my goal. And then let's see. So that'll be a live stream, and of course I'll have a pre-game live stream, halftime live stream, and a post-game live stream for the Seahawks game. The thumbnails for that will be coming up soon. And I appreciate everyone coming through on a Monday night to check out Jay and the Bay. I appreciate that. Queen B says, good night, Jay and everyone. You have a great night, Queen B. Thanks for tuning in. And, faithful then, faithful now. We're 2-1. Hopefully we get some guys back healthy. And hopefully this is a learning lesson for the coaching staff and the players. And I think we can only go up from here. Seattle is 1-2, but they're going to be coming in hungry. Seattle definitely is not going to take it easy. They don't want to start the season, the first 4 games, 1-3. So they're definitely going to be a tough out on Sunday, you know, at Levi Stadium for sure. But we got to play better. We just got to continue to play better. G Rod, you have a good night, man. Appreciate your contributions to the stream tonight. He says, good night. Be blessed, everyone. Hey, Zeus, same to you. Appreciate your contributions. He says, have a good one. You do the same. Hopefully, everyone has a productive work week and go Niners. And thanks for watching your boy, Jay in the Bay. And I will see you guys in the next one. Go Niners.